What if I told you everything you've ever seen, every star, every galaxy, every black hole, is less than 5% of the universe? The rest, we can't see it, we can't touch it, we don't even fully understand it, and the part we can see is just a tiny bubble, floating in something that might go on forever. Tonight, we're going to zoom out, step by step, until reality itself starts to feel unreal. If you enjoy exploring the universe and questioning everything you thought you understood, take a second to like the video or subscribe. It might seem small, but it helps this reach more curious minds like yours. Now, let's begin. Let's start with something familiar. Earth, our home. It's about 12,742 kilometers across. That sounds big, and in everyday life it is. There are entire continents you may never visit, oceans you may never cross, mountains you may never climb. From where you're sitting right now, Earth feels massive. But here's the problem. You've never actually experienced Earth as a whole. You've only ever seen tiny pieces of it. A room, a street, a city. Even flying across the planet doesn't really change that. You're still just seeing fragments. So your brain builds this illusion that Earth is enormous, that it's the main stage of reality. But that illusion doesn't last very long once we zoom out. Because Earth isn't alone. It orbits a star, the Sun. And compared to Earth, the Sun is almost incomprehensibly large. You could fit about 1.3 million Earths inside it. Let that sink in. If you lined up Earths across the Sun's diameter, you'd meet about 109 of them. And suddenly, the planet that felt so huge starts to feel small, very small. But size isn't the most shocking part. Distance is. Earth sits about 150 million kilometers from the Sun. Light, the fastest thing in the universe, travels at about 300,000 kilometers per second. And even at that speed, it takes over 8 minutes to reach us. Which means when you look at the Sun, you're not seeing it as it is right now. You're seeing it as it was 8 minutes ago. You're always looking into the past. Now let's move farther out. Jupiter orbits about 778 million kilometers from the Sun. Light takes about 43 minutes to get there. Neptune sits around 4.5 billion kilometers away. Light takes about 4 hours. Already, space feels empty, vast, almost unnaturally empty. But we're still inside what most people think of as the solar system. And even that idea is incomplete, because the solar system doesn't end at Neptune. Far beyond the planets lies a region called the Oort cloud, a massive spherical shell of icy objects surrounding the entire solar system. It extends out to about 100,000 times the distance between Earth and the Sun. At its outer edge, you're about 1.6 light years away. That's nearly halfway to the nearest star, which means everything gravitationally tied to our Sun stretches far beyond the planets. And even then, we're still not close to leaving our neighborhood, because the nearest star is still unbelievably far away. It's about 4.24 light years from us. That's roughly 40 trillion kilometers. To make that real, if you traveled there in a commercial airplane, it would take about 5 million years. 5 million years. That's longer than human civilization has existed, and that's just the closest star. Let's shrink everything down to something you can picture. Imagine the Sun reduced to the size of a basketball. In that model, Earth becomes a tiny bead, just 2 millimeters wide, and it wouldn't be next to the basketball, it would be 26 meters away. Already, space feels empty. But now ask yourself, where is the nearest star? Not across the room, not across the city. You'd have to travel nearly 7,000 kilometers. If your basketball sun is in London, the nearest star would be in New York. 2 basketballs separated by an ocean. That's how empty space really is. And here's the first realization that changes everything. Space is not crowded. It's almost completely empty. Stars are separated by distances so vast that even light takes years to travel between them. And our sun, it's just one of hundreds of billions of stars. Because now we zoom out again. Our sun is part of a galaxy, the Milky Way, a vast spiral of stars stretching about 100,000 light-years across. Inside it are somewhere between 100 and 400 billion stars, each separated by light-years of mostly empty space. If you could travel at the speed of light, it would still take 100,000 years to cross from one side to the other. Our sun sits about halfway out from the center, orbiting slowly through this enormous structure. And here's the thing. The Milky Way isn't special. It's just one galaxy among trillions. Each galaxy containing billions of stars. Each star potentially surrounded by planets. Each planet a possibility. Now let's zoom out again. The Milky Way is part of a small cluster called the Local Group, about 50 galaxies. The largest of them, Andromeda, is about 2.5 million light-years away, and it's moving toward us. In about 4 billion years, the Milky Way and Andromeda will collide and merge. But even this cluster is just a tiny piece of something larger. We are part of a supercluster called Laniakea, a structure containing around 100,000 galaxies spread across hundreds of millions of light-years, and all of these galaxies are moving, flowing through space, being pulled toward a mysterious region called the Great Attractor. We can't see it directly, but we know it's there because of how everything is moving. Now pause for a second. Think about how far we've come. From Earth to the solar system, to the galaxy, to clusters, to superclusters. And here's the truth. We still haven't reached the edge, because everything we've talked about so far is just the observable universe, the part we can see. The observable universe is about 93 billion light-years across. It contains roughly 2 trillion galaxies, but even that is misleading, because the universe has been expanding since the beginning, which means the actual universe is almost certainly much larger. And now we arrive at the most important idea in this entire video. Everything you've ever seen, everything we've just talked about, makes up less than 5% of what exists. About 27% of the universe is something called dark matter. We can't see it. But galaxies wouldn't exist without it. It holds them together, it surrounds them. Right now, it's passing through your body, constantly. And then there's dark energy, about 68% of the universe. We don't know what it is, but it's pushing space itself apart, faster and faster. The universe isn't just expanding. The expansion is accelerating, which means that one day, galaxies beyond our local group will disappear from view, not because they're gone, but because space between us and them is stretching too fast. At the largest scales, the universe isn't random. It forms a structure known as the cosmic web. Galaxies cluster along vast filaments. Between them are enormous voids, regions of space with almost nothing in them. It looks less like a solid structure and more like foam. Now bring it back. You are here, on a planet orbiting a star, inside a galaxy, inside a supercluster, inside a universe that is mostly invisible. You are unbelievably small, and yet you can understand this. That's the paradox. We are insignificant in size, but extraordinary in awareness. Because as far as we know, we are the only place where the universe has become aware of itself. The atoms in your body were forged in ancient stars. You are literally made of stardust. And now those atoms have come together to ask questions about the universe, to observe it, to understand it. Now let's look forward. The universe is about 13.8 billion years old, but it has a long future ahead. Stars will continue to burn for billions or even trillions of years. Eventually, star formation will stop. The universe will grow darker, colder. Black holes will slowly evaporate. And after unimaginable stretches of time, the universe will reach a state of maximum entropy. No structure, no light, just a thin, cold, expanding emptiness. This is called the heat death of the universe, but that's far in the future. Right now, You exist in a rare moment, a moment where stars shine, where galaxies are visible, where life exists, where consciousness can ask questions. That's what makes this extraordinary. You are part of a universe that is vast beyond comprehension, and yet you can comprehend it. So when you look up at the night sky tonight, remember this: you're not just looking at the universe. You are part of it. You are the universe, looking back at itself. And in a cosmos this vast, that might be the most remarkable thing of all. If this changed how you see reality even a little, consider subscribing, because this is just the beginning.